Welcome to a Comic Book Nation bonus round. And of course, I am Matt Aguilar. And with me is the always delightful Nick Valdez. What's up, buddy?
Oh man, howdy everybody. Howdy Matt. Thanks for having me for this. I'm super excited. Like, let's go.
I know. So if you're the cover image used for this, the title should all tell you what you're in for. But if not, and you just wanted to see us, which thank you. That's so nice. That's so kind
Yeah,
of you.
yeah, yeah.
We are talking Power Rangers because in the dead of night, like 10 o'clock at night, they released. I don't know if I still don't understand if it was like a jumping the gun situation or a time zone thing. I have no idea. But like at 10 o'clock at night, Netflix released the Once and Always Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always 30th Anniversary Special official trailer. We had one before, but it was like kind of the intro to like, hey, here's what we're doing, a bunch of behind the scenes
Mhm.
footage. And there was still a lot of stuff to get from that. But this one is the actual full trailer, gives us a sense of the story and some big revelation, as we will talk about here. So we're going to talk about everything revealed in that, plus the sleuths of the internet and the fandom have already been hard at work looking for every little Easter egg. And while I'm sure I'll miss one or some theory that will end up being right, we've got a lot of the things spotted here. So we're going to go over that for you as well. So hopefully this will be your one-stop shop to get you caught up to speed, because it's April 19th. It's like right around the corner. I am so hyped for
Yes.
this. So first off, though, let's do just a quick general reacts. What were your feelings after the trailer? I know you have
Oh,
watched it a
oh
minimum
yeah,
of
I've
100 times.
yeah, I've like I literally have still watched it. I'm watching it right now somehow. Like, I am absolutely hyped. Nostalgia, all that stuff, of course, but it's so wild seeing it exist. Hearing about it, seeing, behind the scenes footage is one thing, but like seeing the end product like be a thing, and seeing Walter Jones back, seeing David Yost back, and Karen Ashley, like people who haven't been back to the franchise in on the TV side of things in a
Yeah.
long time, like seeing them so back and so prominently featured, it's just like it's blowing my mind. And then of course, you got Barbara Goodson as like Rita, who sounds the
I
exact
know.
same. Like that I think blew my mind more than anything. I'm like, oh, that is Rita.
I think it's safe to say we can put like Barbara's, there are voices that are just like synonymous with characters, right? We talk about Kevin Conroy with Batman and Peter Cullen with Optimus Prime. I'm sorry, Barbara as Rita is right up there.
Yeah,
There's
that's
just
yes.
something about it. It's a special thing. And so to have her, be the voice of Robo-Rita, we're not even getting like, to look at her face and stuff, right? It's like this robotic shell. But having the voice there makes all the difference. Just sells you on it. Complete.
Absolutely. And I'm wondering about that too, because if you're like us, maybe you followed the series since it started, but if you haven't, during In Space, Zordon's tube was destroyed and it sent out the Z wave and it purified Zed and Rita. But in Dino Fury, we have a version of Zed that was brought back from the past when he was evil. And in this one, now we have a robotic Rita who says she found a new body. So it's like, we've seen Rita become the Mystic Mother. So is this like her evil side getting a body? What, like, I'm
Yeah.
just so excited. Like, well, I got all sorts of questions, but like my head is swimming.
Yeah. No, it's such a good way of like, look, I tend to be the one that does not jump down like theories and like go down the rabbit hole. I try not to, right? Because I'm always just like 9 times out of 10, it's not that. It's the
Right.
simplest explanation or something you just don't see coming. Like there's a reason, right? So I don't typically bother. But I in this case I can't help it because I'm just such a fan. This hit all the
Yeah.
nostalgic, notes just so perfectly for me. And I don't know, there's just something about it. And look, I've seen I've seen the side of complaints or the criticisms or whatever, but I don't know, man. I thought this captured it for as much as a trailer can. Obviously, we'll make final judgments and
Right.
stuff when we see the whole thing, but there's just something special about it, man. Seeing everybody back, and I do agree with you. I think it's really cool that we get, you know, um Rocky and Kat haven't had the chance to really interact as like part of the
Yes.
core group in
Yes.
this kind of reunion side, but like they've come back for return specials and stuff, but never, it's always kind of like, oh, here's a bunch of different rangers, there's a bunch of different rangers from a
Yes.
bunch of different things. Here it's like, no, Rocky's the red, like Cat's the pink, and obviously they'll have to explain where Jason is and where Kimberly is or whatever, and I'm sure they will. It's a throwaway line. You can do it very simply, right? It's not hard. Like this,
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's the thing you
Yeah.
can do.
Like they're all adults at this point. I think Rocky was seen as like a firefighter. And it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, they all have jobs. They're people with like they're not teenagers with attitude anymore, right?
yeah,
So if
exactly.
if someone's busy, they're gonna be busy.
And I just love the idea of the Bandora protocol, which is, something that pops up there on the screen, and that
Yes.
screen alone is like responsible for like 8 references and whatever. But I just love the idea of that. The call goes out, and we saw this kind of reflected in Shattered Grid too, right? The call goes out, whoever can answer comes like immediately, and
Yes.
that's going to be your Red Ranger for what you need right now, right? Because Rocky's in an interesting position. He's had several forms, and we get
Yes.
to see, Adam, and we get to see Aisha, but like, the big thing with them is they're SPD territory, right? And they're like, I don't think we're gonna.
It's interesting though. It's SPA, which is
That's
also
true.
like, yeah, it's like, is that like a Space Patrol Alpha? Is that like an academy? I don't know. And it's so interesting because now it's clear that it's playing with so much in such a short time, right?
Yeah,
Like it's such a wide world. And I gotta admit, seeing the MMPR suits, like the whole team in HD, doing like an original fight scene, something about that just clicks. I'm here for it.
well, and it's funny, we even get like, CG Megazord, and
Yes.
like, oh my god, that ruled. I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm down,
we
right?
had
Like,
Yeah, we had
yes.
discussions about this all the time on the Putty Hour, right? Plug.
Yes.
We we had discussions about this all the time about like what a Hasbro original footage not going off the Sentai, and obviously some people are trying to pick up like what will this use of, if it will use any Sentai footage. Most of the stuff we saw is
Yeah, it doesn't look
original.
like it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
original stuff, and it looks so good. And there's always this worry that like, oh, those suits are going to look bad, and I'm sorry, they just don't.
I
There's
think there's a reason why, like, out of all the series we've had, that's the one that's like prominently featured in merchandising and
Yeah,
all that stuff. Not only is it nostalgia, but like, look how clean those suits look in HD. That is wild.
they look so good, and they just
They look
pop. They
good.
just pop, man.
Yes.
So yeah, so I think it's safe to say that we really liked the trailer. I will say I think my only nitpick was just Ernie's, and it's just because the room looks so small. It
I mean,
looks
is that a thing of us getting older, Matt? And
it
maybe
looks
as
so
kids,
small.
as kids, and 30 years is a long time. And through the franchise, Ernie's has been bought and has been changed into other things. Maybe this is a throwback, a smaller juice bar.
This is the franchise. This is the franchise model. They've opened it up to be like Subway.
Yeah, exactly. It's a Taco Bell juice bar,
Yeah.
and
Soon
and
John Oliver's gonna do a whole retrospective on Ernie's. They've
you know,
expanded too much.
and I'm hoping we get like a Bulk and Skull cameo.
That would
Like
be a
I
good
I
one.
hope, like I know that's something that like maybe would have been spoiled by now through the internet slews, but
Yeah.
like, if I think that would be so cool, and for them to like just to sneak into the juice bar scene. Maybe they're running the new juice bar, So I don't know. Make
Well,
that
and
happen.
I love what they've done with Bulk and Skull in the comics, to where like they kind of became like these, you know, they have their own like YouTube show, and they have their own like network and all this other stuff. Just
Yeah,
do that. Like, have them
yeah.
be, like influencers, right? Like Bulk and Skull have their own show and stuff, and then they just pop up at like some big scene, and they're just there, and like I will mark for that in a heartbeat. And a lot of people will, and it would be a great way to show they are intrinsic to Power Rangers. I think Power Rangers,
Yes.
and yes, I think the suits and the Rangers and Zed and Rita, but right there with them are Bulk and Skull. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, they're synonymous with the franchise. I think it would be a really cool thing. The good news is it's a 55-minute special, which is awesome in itself. The fact that it's like an hour, and
Yes.
it's a Netflix special, so it's not really 30 minutes with a bunch of ads.
Right.
It's actually an hour. Because it's like every time we have one of those specials and it's like, yeah, it's 30 minutes. Well, it's 20. Because
Yeah,
once you
it was
account for
22.
commercials,
Yeah.
yeah, and intro and outro, you're down to 20 minutes. So this is cool. There's a lot of room. And we'll get to the big thing, which is before we get into all the little fun Easter eggs, we'll get into the big thing, which is obviously this, the big shock of this is when, Rita, Robo-Rita takes a shot at Billy, and as very much in line with who she is and has always been in the series and protective of Billy, Trini jumps in the way. And at first, you weren't sure if it was Trini or not, because they don't like spell everyone's names out, before this scene happens. But then it is confirmed later on that Trini dies from this fight. And that blast, unfortunately, kills her. And then later in the trailer, we meet Min, who is her daughter, and she's the one that kind of confirms that like Rita killed her mom. And so it's like that's a big deal,
It's
because
huge.
this,
Yeah.
other than like obviously tributes, episode tributes and things like that, this, Twee's death in real life has never really had its kind of moment in within the show, and
Yes.
having this kind of blend those and bring, unfortunate reality, and then kind of move the story forward with a legacy character like her daughter, who you would assume at some point, it is very much kind of teeing up that she would become the new Yellow. She would step into that. Like, there's a lot of stuff here, and I think if it's handled right, it's going to be a really special thing. We'll obviously have to see how it plays out, but I was shocked to see them even address it, frankly, because it's something that you don't expect for Power Rangers.
Yes. It's the same thing you were saying about like explaining away the other characters, right? All it took was a line, but to like take it and make it the main emotional core of the story is huge. And not only that, but it, like, going back to what you said, it's important that they also said, like, they also used the word kill.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Min straight up says she killed mom, and then Robo-Rita says, "I'm going to go back in time and kill all of you before you're Rangers," and that's huge.
Yeah.
We've dealt with that stuff in like the comics, and Power Rangers has had death in its franchise before with characters like Kendricks in like Lost
Mhm.
Galaxy and stuff like that. But like here, this is huge. Like, this is this is official TV series, whatever universe extent it is, but you're using the word kill. These stakes are huge, and for the 30-year-olds out there, that's big. That's big news. That's huge, and I'm curious to see how it all plays out, especially when, wrapping up the emotional tribute into that. And the unfortunate thing that we do also have to address with the absence of Jason David Frank, who has passed away before this special. So now it's like, I'm curious, Matt, definitely curious.
Yeah, and I do like that they've already come out and revealed in a statement, that they're like, this episode is tributed to them, and you're likely to get this is tributed to the memories of them. And it,
Mm-hmm.
because of when it was filmed, it was done before his passing. There's not, he was already, I mean, there's footage of a Green Ranger, right? They weren't going to obviously have him take the helmet off and things like that. But so the character is alive, it would seem, and will probably be that way for the foreseeable future. But it would be wonderful to have at the end some sort of like
Yes.
longer tribute, even if it's just a dedication, that will be something. But if it's just a longer tribute to both of them, it would be a wonderful thing. And especially, Jason, just for the amount of work and time, he gave to this franchise. So I do hope to see that towards the end. So, and then of course, we get into, we got Robo-Rita, we've got Trini, we've got the idea of all these Rangers coming together. Then we move into the fun territory of Easter eggs, right? So just the Bandora protocol alone has probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 just from that one screen alone. So we have Reefside referenced, we have Turtle Cove, Terra Venture, Astro Megaship, and Coral Harbor. Those are just referenced in that screen and then the other little spots that people have noticed. Reefside is obviously Dino Thunder, which in itself is actually a cool, like
Jason
not
David Frank.
Yes, not that I don't know if it was meant that way, but like it's still a cool nod, since that was really like he was so intrinsic to that show. Wild Force, Turtle Cove, Lost Galaxy, and by this point the comics have like Terra Venture has become such a huge part of the comics and everything. Astro Megaship in space.
Yes.
Best.
Oh yeah.
And then Coral Harbor, it's great to see Beast Morphers reference. I am surprised we haven't seen a Dino Fury nod yet. I'm sure it's coming, but we haven't seen it yet.
I mean, Cosmic Fury exists, so if who knows, maybe something that happens here will be addressed in Cosmic Fury. I would love to see something like that. And going along to the city shout outs and stuff like that, it's cool to see Beast Morphers, since that's also where we saw Austin St. John last, coming back for like that crossover, and the Astro Megaship. So this has been one of those theories that's floating around that Aisha and Adam are on the Astro Megaship when they're talking to Billy and the others. So I think that would be so cool.
If they are on the Astro Megaship, that would rule. That would be awesome. Yeah, and it's this and then of course there's on the display on the control panel in the background, you can see Cranston Technologies, which is again a nod to Billy and like what he's been doing. It always would make sense. I mean, I like what they've done with him in the comics as far as like making him like utilizing that knowledge and his intelligence and stuff to become such a big part of Grace's, Promethea and stuff. But I love the idea of him here of like, it seems like just becoming, Bill Gates type figure of, having your big company and your tech being a Stark, Tony Stark level type thing.
Yeah, it's good to see that he's been doing so well since going to Aquitar. I do want to know.
Yes.
Last time we've seen Billy in the TV series was it Power Rangers Zeo, right? It was the unfortunate stuff about going on behind the scenes with David Yost, which is also why it's super important that he's coming back and as like a featured lead in this. But yeah, the last time we see Billy, he was like trying to de-age in the waters of Aquitar. But like he's looking good. He's making good money.
I do want some kind of like I do want some kind of like, hey, what happened there? You know what I mean? Like, it can be a line. It doesn't have to be something. I don't need a whole paragraph exposition. I just need I remember that. Like, it was, it was good. It was good water. So, like, it can just be a throwaway line, but I just want to reference.
Just have him say, I love water or something.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Everyone will get it. And the ones who don't, it doesn't matter. It's like that. That's not for them, And then Nick actually pointed this one out to me because I completely missed this. Probably like one of the bigger things is the cracked Zordon tube in the background. I can't believe I missed that.
Yeah, like we last time we saw Zordon was Andros hitting the tube, and it looks like Billy got the tube since then. And and then that souped up command center, there forgive me for forgetting the fan's name, but they pointed out that an emblem on the command center looks a lot like Power Rangers Hyperforce, which is
that was George Ranger Reviews. Shout out. Ranger Reviews on YouTube at Ranger Reviews. Shout out that one out because I lost my mind when I saw that and I sent Nick a message.
Yeah, you did, because this is beside all the little detour here. Matt and I have always had conversations, and my thing is, TV is TV, comics is comics, and all that extra stuff, right? But if Hyperforce is TV now, then that makes Hyperforce official canon, and that makes the comics officially official. So hey, let's do it.
I'm so I look if that oh my god, especially if you're thinking about it would be so easy to throw in a line or a reference if they are indeed doing like a time travel story. Like if that's her whole goal and like her main plan is to
Ooh,
go back in time, they literally, you know what I mean? Like their mentor is Jen. They work with the
yes.
Time Force Ranger. Like it would that's their whole story is that they went back to Angel Grove. Like it would make all the sense in the world to just plant a name. It's one of the names, like it's all you have to do. You know what I mean? You don't have to go nuts with it. But just a little bit of that will I'm telling you, I
I
will
mean,
lose. I will flip my lid. Flip my
yeah,
lid.
and technically, Aisha's like she's interacted with the Hyperforce like
Mm-hmm.
during a fight in the past. So
Yep.
like maybe she's obviously a huge part of SPA. So like maybe she was out here planting those seeds, making the future happen, Ooh, it's so exciting.
I'm all for this. This is amazing,
And
and I am excited. So yeah,
yeah,
that pretty
yes.
much gets you up to speed on everything we know so far about the special, about what they're doing with kind of Trini's legacy. The one thing probably need to tackle real quick is like, so what do you want to see from here? Because if Min
Hmm.
becomes, the Yellow Ranger, it does two things. It would actually be a good bookend if you needed it to be. You could make it a bookend and just go like, here's the next generation. She's going to be the leader of the next generation of Rangers, and like Billy and maybe Zach or whoever, maybe they are like, my time is kind of here. Like I need to step
Right.
away, but like you'll be the leader. You'll usher in a new thing. You can do that and have it be like an open-ended ending. And it could be satisfying if done right. You could also just use this as a Billy or whoever Cat Rocky wants to be a mentor like figure and usher in a new team. You could also
Ooh.
set that up, right? Like you can do either one. I feel like you need to pick, because if you don't, then you're going to get this
Yes.
weird mishmash and no one's going to know what the like no one's going to be satisfied if you do that. And so I feel like they do need to pick one or two angles. What do you want?
No, I completely 100% agree. I think what I want the most is an ending. I want this, because basically at the end of the day, this didn't have to happen. Hasbro and Netflix did not need to do this
Right.
at all. Not only did they not need to do this, but they didn't need to put as much care as they put into it.
Right.
With the original cast, with having special moments like Walter Jones getting to lead a Morphin call. Like, yes, he's
Yes.
done it's Morphin time calls before, but like showing him as the prominent
Yeah,
leader
it makes a
of
difference.
yes, like that's huge. So it's stuff like it's little details, the Easter eggs, Hyperforce, all that stuff, right? But at the end of the day, if this is the end to the official, like, hey, this is a final, like you said, a final bookend to MMPR, I would be 1,000% fine with that. A definite open ending. Hey, Min will be fighting in the future. It's one of those comic book endings, right? Where it's
Right.
like then they go off to other adventures, and but I also like would not mind if we do get another like Cosmic Fury type thing where we get a completely original series or whatever the reboot is, or I would love them to take some of these elements and be like, hey, Billy's here with a fully formed command center, leading his own Power Rangers, right? But either way, like you said, I want this to end. Like, I want this to have like a definitive end for the special. And, if we get a franchise ending on top of that, I'm cool too, because the end future is certain. but it would be cool to have like a point, like a fine
Right.
end point to be like, yes, to look back and be like, okay, this is how they ended it all, you know?
Because we gotta like, because so I'm in the camp of like, I want some open endedness to it so that you can continue
Mm-hmm.
certain stories if you want, especially Min.
Yes.
It doesn't make any sense to like introduce this new character and like not leave yourself at least the opportunity to
Right.
have her back or in some kind of way, right? So I would like that, but then I agree with you because I need an ending that
Yes.
at some point, and we saw with Jason before his passing, right? At some point, like David Yost is gonna like might not want to come back for another one 10 years for,
Right.
you know what I mean, like you're or 5 years or 3 years or whatever. Cat's the same way, like all these characters, you know, I will still welcome them back, but like at some point, they might not want to do it, and so you do have to
Yes.
kind of plan something around that and go, okay, at some point we need something to where we can like have a nice chapter closing, and if they want to come back and do
Yes.
something else, great. You can always find ways to bring someone back, but I need some kind of definitive ending to this saga that like feels like it's a firm ending. And then if you want to do little spins and stuff like that, side stories, you absolutely can. But I still
Of
need that
course.
thing because yeah, I don't know how long they're gonna want to suit up, man. Like you just
Yeah,
don't know,
like yeah, like we've been saying this whole time, it's just a surprise that they got him at all, you know. And 30 years is a long time, a lot has happened, and these people aren't just characters, they're people who this is their job, this is their art, this is their lives.
Yeah,
And they probably also just want to say goodbye to their characters,
right.
because yeah, especially Walter Jones and David Yost, and Karen Ashley too. Last time we
Mm-hmm.
saw Aisha, she went to Africa as a kid.
Yep.
So Karen Ashley never got her on-screen final moments.
Yeah.
So like I'm pretty sure this is just like a goodbye in sense of the art, you know?
Yeah.
Like if I were them, like I would love to just be like, let me get that. It's that one more.
Yeah.
I can
It's
do
that thing.
one more, coach, and then
Yeah. That's yes.
that's it, right? Then you
Yeah.
retire.
And by the way, when I was referring to Jason, I meant more in his, before he passed, he had kind of stepped away from the Ranger franchise. He
Yes.
had been like, I'm
Yes.
I'm kind of done with that era. I meant that as opposed to obvious. I didn't mean his untimely
No,
passing. I
he
meant, yeah.
he
I just
he
wanted to
made a
clear that because when
statement.
I thought about it, I was like, yeah, I hope no one takes that out of context. I meant his stepping away from the franchise. So
No,
you
no,
want
yeah.
them to get
Yes.
their moment, that ending thing, and feel like, yeah, Billy got his moment. He got his arc. He got Zach's the same way. Like, Rocky, you want that. And this is cool that they get to do that. So yeah, I agree with you. I think what I want most from this is like a satisfying ending that, can obviously leave the door open, because how cool would it be look, I don't know what's happening with the show reboot and the
Mm-hmm.
movie reboot or whatever, but like how cool would it be for that to be rolling and then you bring Min in, a
Yeah.
cool thing, like she's a new ranger, you just bring her in for a guest appearance, but like it has meaning now because of what happened here. She becomes an important part, as the daughter of Trini should be. Like that should be a
Yes.
character moving forward that is like, Jason Scott or Kimberly. Like that should be a character that you can anchor around moving forward if
Yeah.
you want. And
Yeah.
so, but if you don't execute it right, then it won't feel that way. So I'm excited. We could go on this about all day, but I know Nick's got to do other things. So obviously stay tuned to Comic Book Nation and comicbook.com for more Power Rangers stuff. We will have all the coverage here on the special when it finally airs and everything leading up to it. And then, as Nick said, Cosmic Fury is also this year. We got that right around the
Mm-hmm.
corner too. We don't have a hard release date yet, but sometime in 2023. So look, I think it's going to be a really good year for Power Rangers. I don't know what the
I
future
mean,
holds, but it's a hell of a 30th so far.
I mean, you got Zed and Cosmic Fury. You've got Robo-Rita here. You know, it would be cool if Min shows up in Cosmic Fury as like she's been fighting on her own kind of thing, and she's like, Zed, I've dealt with Rita, and you're like, it's like, yeah.
Oh my god! And then like, oh my god, yes, please make that happen.
Yeah.
Oh, and Cosmic Fury is going to be in space, and we got a female Red Ranger. Amelia's the Red Ranger. Oh, I'm so jazzed about
Lots of
that
good
show.
stuff, and of course the comics. Please continue checking out the comics or jump into
Yes.
them if you haven't. Like I said, I literally just threw them under the bus earlier, but like I'm
How
all
dare you,
in.
man.
Like it's but you know, if that's the adult oriented stories you want, you got comics that are telling these stories with the Ranger characters. So
Yeah, Zed just became a Ranger.
yeah,
How
hey,
nuts is that?
it's been a wild 30th anniversary for Power Rangers already, and this
Yeah.
thing hasn't even hit. Like let's go.
So excited. So stick around for more coverage there. But in the meantime, Nick, where can they catch you?
You can find me at Valdizology on Twitter and all the socials, and of course the anime page on comicbook.com.
Yeah. And wow, that was a little LA night. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can find me at Matt Aguilar CB. And unfortunately, my face is all over this place. So I'm sorry. I apologize to you.
Yeah, you are everywhere. ComicBook Nation. You're just
I'm sorry. I
they
apologize.
know who you are.
I
They know who
apologize.
you
I'm
are.
sick of
man.
me. I'm sorry. But I'll catch you later. Peace.